Everyone, good. Head coach Ben Olsen here. Ben, another win at home here. Shutout victory. What's your thoughts on that result tonight?
Well, we want to continue winning games here, and rewarding the fans and the people that are coming out to support us. And so far, that's been a recurring theme. And I thought the performance today was my favorite performance of the year. Again, super disciplined defensively. Thought the coaches put a really good game plan together. The players followed it. I thought the physical outputs from every player was at a really high level. And then mentally, we were tough. And we some of our guys got out of their shell and I thought had a real kind of nastiness about them and physicality. And those are kind of the three components that we talk about. And not, at times we've had all three of those. And sometimes you can get away with two, but tonight it was, all three of those, I think, were boxes checked.
Thank you. Start with Alex.
Thank you, sir. Coach, good evening. Congratulations. Talk to us about, again, Agustin Resch, Antonio Carlos, their discipline, their timing. I keep focusing on that because once they're clicking, it seems like tonight's performance can be repeated.
Yeah, they are a nice little partnership, and they obviously, when they got some size and they got some moxie in there and some physicality, but I thought they were really composed all night long, and Resch, we expect that from Antonio. We didn't know how he would respond after the 120 minutes, but he did a good job. We put him in a few cryo chambers over the last couple days, and he came out a new man, and I thought he had a great game. And Resch, he's a pleasant surprise. I mean, that's a hard team to play against, and obviously it's a collective. And I thought Bondi had a good game. Felipe was an animal. Lawrence playing left back is something new. That it was a new challenge for him, and he took it. I thought he did a great job with some of the duels. And again, to a man, everybody showed up tonight.
Coach, quickly, you talk about the emotion, and you had a great quote this week coming into the match of some emotion is needed, but not always. I did see your emotion in the conclusion of this match. You were happy with this victory. I could sense it. At least that was my perspective, Coach.
I'm thrilled. Yeah, this is I'm thrilled for the guys. I'm thrilled for the coaching staff that this was a group effort, and I think we needed this type of win where we showed maybe a different side of ourselves. I thought, again, the defensive discipline that we showed. I know at times it's frustrating giving the other team the ball, but sometimes that's warranted to end up having success. And we had a few really good chances. They didn't have a shot in the first half, and we had real transition moments. And it was set up that way. We're unlucky not to be a little cleaner in some of those moments, but overall, just thrilled with beating them, especially after losing the way we did away. We wanted to kind of get a little something back.
Thank you.
Coach, a bit of a two-part question. After the next 8-day break, you have about 5 games in 13 days. Is this where squad depth and all these additions come into play? And more or less, what are some of the expectations going into all those games in such a small amount of time before the big break?
Well, just that everybody is going to need to contribute. So we'll get away for a couple of days, and these guys have been grinding, same as the staff, the players. So we'll step away and we'll show back up Wednesday and get back to work. And the message is going to take everybody. And fortunately for us, so far this year, or unfortunately, we've had a lot of twists and turns with the suspensions already, with the red cards and injuries, and so that's enabled us to put a lot of different players on the field in different structures, and so we will. I'm comfortable with a lot of our squad depth, in that they've seen real minutes in the MLS so far. So we'll have to rely on them over the next month.
Hello, Coach. Congratulations on the win today. Arturo and McGlynn, we spoke about them last week. Today they played 60 minutes. What are your thoughts on their performance and how are they doing?
Just that, if I didn't have sports science down my neck, I would have pushed them a little bit longer. But we have to be smart with some of these guys. Already didn't have a preseason, and he's an important part here, so we got to keep building him. and Jack. His minutes were, I think, really quality, and we just got to keep pushing him and make sure that groin continues to get stronger, and he's available for the next month.
And then on resiliency, right, focusing a little bit on Lawrence. Last season, he came back from a horrible injury. This season, now he's in a new position, but he's still performing. What does that say about him?
Well, I've played him right wing back, left back, and a 4. I'll probably use him as a right back at some point in a 4. So, he's had a lot to digest, and this is an attacking guy. He's a winger, by trade. So, he's really had to. We've asked different things of him, and he's been open-minded about it. And I think he's been. I think he's been good in a lot of those spots. But tonight was his best performance. It wasn't even close. And defensively, the amount of times he was able to deal with the duels out wide and regain possession and also join the attack when the game told him to was, I thought, pretty impressive. So we'll see.
Coach, congratulations again on the win. So you mentioned that you tried an ollie on left back. Is that something you think it's going to happen more moving forward? And can you describe the emotion you felt as he scored the goal?
Yeah, I'm thrilled for him. Obviously, thrilled for the team to score a goal and get a lead in the game. It's something we got to continue to look at, and we can look at him in. We know he's played wing back for us, and we know he could probably do the advanced role on the right side too, and the way we used Griffin. So we'll just keep pushing and learning from each game. But tonight he showed a side of him that was important. And again, tactically, I think it made sense. I don't get too much in the inside baseball, but it was about being it was a one duel all night long, and it was fairly predictable out there. And he did a very good job.
And 5th win in the last 6 matches in all competitions. Is there a key to that form, or is it just?
No, they've all come different ways. Some have been. The Open Cup the other night was, a last-ditch effort, and that we've got some 1-0 wins. We haven't given up a lot of goals over that course of time. I don't think Austin, a slip there, but our defensive mindset has been, better. And we've scored in different ways, in transition and build up, sustained possessions, set pieces. I believe as well. With Eric had one, so we got to continue to be adaptable, and we'll just go week to week. We got again 3 days off, and then L.A., Salt Lake, Vancouver, Open Cup, and then LA. So we're going to exhale, and when we get back to work, we understand it's a tall task over the next month, but one we're up for.
Thank you, Coach. Talking about what you just said about the defense, I asked you on Wednesday about how different this Colorado offense looked in previous years. You gave a very insightful response then. How meaningful is it for the state of your defense to hold them to 2 shots on goal today? And considering how well their offense has run, at least in the last few matches, especially with how they played against you last, what do you feel like the state of your defense is now with how they've been playing lately, and especially tonight?
I think, again, I credit the coaching staff putting together a really good game plan and some real solves against them. I credit the players to follow that, because it's one thing to throw a game plan at someone that's a little bit different than what you've been doing, and the other, it's another thing for the players to buy into it and go after it. Because if they don't buy into it, the game plan doesn't work, and then you don't look so hot as a coach. So they have to have some faith, and I thought they did tonight. That's a high-powered offense. At 45 or at halftime, it was a very disciplined first half, and the challenge for us, or at least it has been, is like, can we do that? Can we be a disciplined team for 90+ minutes? And this was probably our best effort. Orlando, we had a little bit of that as well, but this was, I thought the balance of being organized, being tough to break down, but also still being dangerous in transition. I thought it was a really nice balance tonight.
And quickly going back to Ignale, you mentioned how well his growth has been since he's been a part of this organization, since his injury. What is his ceiling, do you feel like, on both sides of the ball? Do you feel like he has value that could lean one side or the other more, especially, you don't see nearly 30-yard out goals every single day. Like,
Yeah,
what do you think his ceiling could be?
He's athletically extremely gifted. I mean, he's rapid. I think tactically he's sharp, and technically he's extremely sound. Left, right, good passer. It's fairly high, I mean, we got to see. It's still early in his career in some ways, and I think what will help him is continuing to find a consistent spot for him, so he can continue to build relationships around them and really take him to another level. We've bounced around again 3-4 different positions for him, and that's good, and his flexibility is good. But to really maximize, at some point we're gonna find a spot for him to play week in, week out, and find some really good relationships around him. So he's developing some stuff with Guy. You can see over the time that relationship's growing. But he's a special kid, and I'm really happy for him tonight.
Anything else? Good. All right. Thanks everyone. We'll have Lawrence
Thanks.
here next.